saving our environment. Our planet is like a giant home where all living creatures, humans, animals, plants, and even tiny insects, depend on each other for their survival. However, this beautiful home is facing some big problems. The air, water, and land are all getting polluted, which harms life everywhere. In this chapter, we will learn simple ways to keep our environment clean and protect the planet. By taking small steps every day, each one of us can make a big difference in saving our Earth. Pollution. Pollution is the addition of harmful substances to the environment by human activities. It damages the air, water, and land and can affect all living organisms, including humans, animals, and plants. The substances that harm the environment are called pollutants. There are different types of pollution: air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, noise pollution. Air pollution. Air pollution occurs when harmful substances like smoke, dust, and harmful gases are released into the air. This makes the air dirty and unhealthy to breathe. It can come from many sources, such as vehicles, factories, and the burning of fuels. Causes of air pollution. Factories and vehicles release harmful gases like carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and nitrogen oxide into the air. Burning of fuels like wood, coal, diesel, and petroleum. Burning of garbage releases smoke in the air. Cutting down trees increases air pollution because trees help clean the air. Air pollution is also linked to global warming. Global warming occurs when the Earth's temperature rises because certain gases in the atmosphere trap heat from the sun. This process is called the greenhouse effect. The gases responsible for this effect are known as greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. These gases are released into the air when we burn coal, oil, and gas for energy. When too many greenhouse gases are in the air, they trap more heat and make the Earth warmer. This leads to changes in the weather, rising sea levels, and other problems that affect our planet, as well as the plants and animals living on it. Effects of air pollution. Breathing problems like asthma, coughing, or even lung diseases. Chemicals called chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, released by air conditioners and refrigerators, damage the ozone layer, which protects human beings from harmful ultraviolet UV rays of the sun. Plants breathe through small pores, stomata, present on their leaves. When polluted air enters, it damages the leaf cells, causing leaves turn yellow or brown. This reduces the growth of plants over time. Animals that breathe polluted air may become sick, and in severe cases, they may even die. As acid rainwater flows through different water bodies, it seeps through the soil and not only affects the growth of plants but also contaminates the sources of fresh water like groundwater, etc. Acid rain also increases the acidity of water and thus affects aquatic life. Do you know, when cars, factories, and power plants burn fuel, they release harmful gases like sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides into the air. These gases mix with water vapor in the atmosphere and form acids. When it rains, these acids fall to the ground as acid rain, the rain that has become more acidic than normal due to air pollution. Acid rain harms living beings, plants, and animals. It also damages buildings and monuments. For example, the Taj Mahal has been affected severely by acid rain, which has made its white marble turn yellowish. Preventive measures. Use public transport or bicycles to reduce air pollution. Choose CNG, compressed natural gas vehicles, as CNG is a cleaner alternative to petrol and diesel. Factories should install pollution control devices to capture harmful gases and particulates like dust and ash before they escape into the air. Plant more trees as they help clean the air and reduce pollution. Reduce the use of plastic and other harmful materials that release toxins when burned. Use cleaner sources of energy like solar power, wind energy, etc. Water pollution. Water pollution happens when harmful substances such as chemicals, sewage, and plastic waste are dumped into rivers, lakes, or oceans. These pollutants make water dirty and unsafe for drinking, fishing, and other activities. Causes of water pollution. Waste water from homes and factories released into water bodies. Plastic and garbage dumped into water bodies. Agricultural runoff, where pesticides and fertilizers wash into water bodies. Oil spills from ships and factories. Idols and other religious offerings are sometimes thrown into water bodies, which also causes pollution. Effects of water pollution. Water becomes unsafe for drinking, cooking, and bathing. Aquatic life, such as fish and other animals, are harmed or killed. People can get diseases from drinking polluted water like typhoid and cholera. Polluted water damages the ecosystem by destroying the habitats of many species. Preventive measures. Never dump garbage or chemicals into water bodies. Use biodegradable products that decomposes naturally. Treat sewage before releasing it into water bodies. Avoid bathing animals and washing clothes in water bodies. Spread awareness in the community about recycling and proper waste disposal. Always use eco-friendly products obtained from natural materials like sugarcane, clay, and paper. Land pollution. Land pollution happens when humans make the land dirty, for example, dumping waste, using harmful chemicals, or cutting down too many trees. Deforestation. This makes the land or soil unfertile for growing crops and unsafe for animals to live in. Causes of land pollution. Garbage thrown in open spaces like streets and parks. Industrial waste dumped directly onto the land. Open defecation, which makes land dirty and unhygienic. Plastic waste and non-biodegradable materials that do not break down easily. Improper disposal of hazardous substances like chemicals, batteries, plastic bags. Deforestation, which leads to loss of forest cover and soil erosion. Overuse of fertilizers and pesticides. Effects of land pollution. Plants and animals can be harmed because the waste contaminates their surroundings. Polluted land becomes barren and cannot be used for growing crops. Polluted land can spread diseases, causing breathing problems and skin infections in people living nearby. Biodiversity reduces as plants and animals lose their habitats. Preventive measures. Always throw trash in dustbins or recycle bins. Recycle as much as possible to reduce waste. Reduce the use of plastic bags and related products. Compost organic waste, such as food scraps, so that it can be used as natural fertilizers. Plant more trees to prevent soil erosion and increase soil fertility. Noise pollution. Sound is essential for life, but excessive and disturbing noise is harmful. Noise pollution occurs when the environment is affected by loud and unwanted sounds. It can harm both humans and animals. Major sources include vehicles, loudspeakers, factories, construction sites, drilling operations, and heavy machinery. Causes of noise pollution. Cars, buses, and trucks made loud noises by honking of horns. Construction sites using heavy machinery generate loud and disturbing noise. Playing music too loudly disturbs others. Jet planes flying overhead and trains passing by make loud noise. The bursting of crackers produces loud noise. Using loudspeakers in cultural functions and parties contribute to noise pollution. Effects of noise pollution. Causes hearing problems and may even lead to deafness. Causes stress, anxiety, and irritation. Disruption of sleep, leading to tiredness and poor health of both humans and animals. Natural behavior of animals get affected. They can become anxious or confused. Preventive measures. Use earplugs or noise-cancelling headphones in noisy areas. Control traffic noise by using noise-controlled and well-maintained vehicles. Limit loud music and unnecessary hooting in public places. Plant trees around noisy areas as they help absorb sound. Install noise barriers or walls around noisy areas to block or reduce sound. Conservation of natural resources. Natural resources are substances that occur naturally in the environment. These are gifts from nature that we use every day. These resources are essential for our daily lives and for the survival of all living beings. We depend on them for energy, food, shelter, and many other purposes. It is important to use these resources wisely to ensure that they are available for future generations. By conserving resources and using renewable sources of energy, we can protect our planet and its resources for coming years. Conservation means protecting and preserving these resources to ensure they are available for future generations. Types of natural resources. There are two types of natural resources: renewable resources, non-renewable resources. Renewable resources. Renewable resources are natural resources that can be replenished or renewed naturally over time. These resources do not get exhausted when used wisely and can be reused. For example, sunlight, wind, water, forests, soil, etc. are some renewable resources. Importance of renewable resources. They help us produce energy and products without harming the environment. They are sustainable and can be used again and again. They support life and maintain ecological balance. Renewable resources: sunlight, soil, forest, wind, water. Ways to conserve renewable resources. Use wisely. Turn off lights when you are not using them. Replant trees. After cutting down a tree, plant a new one so that forests keep growing. Save water. Do not waste water when you are brushing your teeth or taking a shower. Do you know, solar energy, a renewable resource, is the most abundant energy source on Earth. In just 1 hour, the Earth receives more sunlight than the entire world uses in 1 year. Non-renewable resources. Non-renewable resources are natural resources that cannot be replaced easily once they are used up. These resources are limited and they take millions of years to form. So, once they run out, they cannot be regenerated within a human lifetime. For example, fossil fuels, minerals, metals, etc. are some non-renewable resources. Importance of non-renewable resources. They provide energy for industries, transport, and households. They are valuable for economic growth. However, they cause pollution and may run out if not used wisely. Non-renewable resources: coal, metals, minerals, natural gas, petroleum. Fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are non-renewable resources formed from the remains of dead plants and animals buried deep in the earth. Over millions of years, heat and pressure transformed these remains into coal, petroleum, oil, and natural gas. These fuels are commonly used to produce energy. Examples of fossil fuels: coal. It is a black rock used in power plants to generate electricity and in industries for heating and making steel. Petroleum, oil. It is a thick liquid used to make petrol, diesel, and products like plastics and fertilizers. Natural gas. It is a colorless, odorless gas used for heating, cooking, and generating electricity. Although fossil fuels are important sources of energy, they can cause pollution and contribute to global warming and climate change. Ways to conserve non-renewable resources. Use less. Try to use less electricity and gas to save energy. Switch to alternatives. Use renewable energy like solar or wind power instead of coal or oil for electricity, using e-vehicles instead of diesel and petrol vehicles. Take care of our resources. Avoid wasting things like fossil fuels and metals and use them carefully. Remember the 5 R's principle. Following the 5 R's helps save non-renewable resources by using less, reusing, and recycling materials instead of wasting them. Refuse. Say no to things you do not need, like plastic bags or extra packaging. Reduce. Use fewer of things to make less waste, like using both sides of paper. Recycle. Convert waste materials like paper, plastic, metal, and glass into new products. Reuse. Use things again instead of throwing them away, like using a cloth bag again and again for carrying vegetables instead of plastic bags. Repurpose. Change something old into something new, like using a small jar as a pen or pencil holder. Key words: pollution, the addition of harmful substances into the environment by human activities. Pollutants, the substances that harm the environment. Global warming, the rise in Earth's temperature due to greenhouse gases. Acid rain, rain that has become more acidic than normal due to air pollution. Natural resources, substances that occur naturally in the environment and are used by humans for various purposes. Conservation, the practice of protecting and preserving resources for future use. Renewable resources, resources that can be naturally replenished or renewed over time. Non-renewable resources, resources that cannot be replaced once they are used up. Fossil fuels, non-renewable resources formed from the remains of plants and animals buried deep into the earth. Let's recall saving our environment. Pollution, natural resources, air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, noise pollution. Renewable resources, air, water, sunlight, soil, etc. 5 R's principle. Refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, repurpose. Non-renewable resources, fossil fuels, coal, petroleum, natural gas, minerals, etc.